Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming in, and you're very welcome. I hope you're all safe and well. Welcome to our little recap of today's investigation. We're going out on our Facebook page, YouTube, and also the Paranormal Collective Network. So it's a recap about earlier on today. Rigger from SPIG and his partner Lindsay came down with us. We had Laura and Craig were with us as well. And we took a wee return visit to Loudon-Kirk, where we'd investigated it two weeks ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks ago. This time, hi Gail, no, Gail was away on holiday tomorrow, actually. Lucky her. Lucky her. I'm not going to tell you where she's going, but she's off to the war on holiday. This time, we went during the day. We went this morning because we wanted to basically compare if activity is the same during the days as at night. I know a lot of people say, activity ramps up at night time. Other people disagree. So we done one last year and we got loads of activity. So we decided to get back during the day. And I don't know how to put it, it didn't disappoint.
Definitely not. I did not expect to get as much as we did. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's down to... We like to go at night time. I'm sure you guys are the same. A lot of paranormal teams, it's kind of the night time. I don't know if that kind of starts playing in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But this is probably the first time I've ever went out during the day. And when I say during the day, I mean like early in the morning, like 10 o'clock. But the activity we got, rather good. Unexplainable. We tried to debunk it. We tried.
I'll build these comments up. Gail saying, hopefully next time I'll be on the next investigation rig and finally get to meet you. There's our good friend Sten. How you doing, Sten, buddy? Thanks so much. Sten was watching the investigation this morning with Sarah. And Facebook user. We don't know who you are, buddy, but if you want to type your name in so we can... I hate calling people Facebook user. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. Anyway, bonjour.
Bonjour.
I can't even smile. Sorry, guys, if my facial expression in that isn't as much as it usually is. I've got a killer abscess, like a killer abscess. So just try to get through it.
Just fight your way through it. But I know you mean the daytime. Sten actually said that he emailed me earlier on the day. The majority of teams they investigate at night. We've done it ourselves, loads of times. It's Lindsay. Your missus, I take it.
Lindsay, man, come on.
Bonjour, Lindsay. Lindsay was here earlier on today as well. So what was I saying? Nighttime investigations. There's a different atmosphere because it's Sarah is sympathising with you, Rigger. She got toothache as well. Well, that's how she's known because her mouse giving her quite a wee bit of bother. So I'll remember what I was saying now. So nighttime investigation, we've done it. You have done it or not. It's a different atmosphere because it's dark and it's kind of more spooky looking kind of thing. And there's less noise contamination as well. It's depending on the location, because also during the day you get buses and people and all sorts that can interfere with it. Whereas nighttime there seems to be less noise about, less distraction. But as I said earlier on the day, spirits don't work shifts. They don't do a night shift. It's not until 6 o'clock and then you say, right, 6 o'clock I'm off. It's 24/7 basically. And I think if you're in the right location and you've got the right kind of attitude and energy about you, then you are going to get results.
Yep.
During the day.
Yep.
I think hey Edward, buddy. I think the investigation proves that you do get activity during the day, and I think as Sten said earlier, he would like to see more daytime investigations.
Mm-hmm.
I would as well. So it's something we're going to look into. Obviously, people work and stuff like that, so a lot of times during the day isn't ideal, but where possible, we're going to look into doing daytime investigations as well, and because there's no reason we need to stick to the night time. But I don't know where to start with this one, right, to be honest, the amount of activity we got.
Well, just on the note of the day and the nighttime investigations. So, like, if you bring somebody in your group out during the night, and you at Loudenkirk, where were they? And you say, "Do you fancy getting into these trees at night? Do you fancy getting in there?" Well, it's dark and they're on video. They'll be kind of, "Aye, I'll do it," but kind of hesitant.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's dark during the day. They will 100% definitely go straight into the trees because it's daylight. So there's kind of that safe factor. Where at night you get a lot of, as you said, it's quiet, so you can kind of hear distant noises, and whatnot. But I do believe, strongly believe, and as you know, I fully believe in paranormal, but I strongly believe nighttime can add that kind of extra factor to it because it is night. Takes you kind of the comfort zone away, rather than when it is daytime. Going to a bad location during the day, you're going to feel more safe than what you are during the night. Because at night time, oh, who's in that room? How do I open that door? With her during the day, you open the door. It's daytime. In your mind, you're thinking there's nobody going to be here during the day. But at night, you think, oh, Michael Myers is hiding in the room.
I think you said earlier on the kind of same thing, is that always with Loudenkirk's got a lot of trees, a lot of undergrowth and what have you, and at night time, you don't know what's in the trees or who's in the trees.
Exactly.
Some kind of mad serial killer sitting waiting on you.
That's what's going through your mind. But during the day, there's more chance of somebody being there during the day than at night time. Somebody's not going to just go into get to a kirk or somewhere surrounding trees and just hide in the trees, hoping somebody's going to appear. If anything, they're going to be there during the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think it is a big factor. I think your mind can start playing tricks. But at the same time, the more you go out and investigate and maybe return to these locations so many times, you start getting used to the environment and your mind you start getting control yourself. If a branch snaps, then you might understand it could be a deer, a mouse, a rabbit, or whatnot.
You become more familiar with it and more comfortable with it.
Yep.
It's what you can't see that bothers the mind. Exactly. It's what I've been doing a lot of Kirky night myself. I've been do some filming for a video we were putting together, and there is a different atmosphere at night. And I'm not just saying that because it's night time, but I don't know if you felt it yourself. And also that last investigation we done, we went, it was daylight. It was, I don't know, about 8 o'clock at night or something. So it wasn't dark. And then when the kind of darkness fell, night time came, the whole atmosphere changed. Obviously, it's something to do with getting dark, but I don't know, I just think the energy kind of changed as well. The day, I felt the energy was lighter at the church bit.
Yeah.
At the wall, basically, than it was at the back of the yard, at the cages I've got. The back of the churchyard was more, you were getting watched more. I'm trying. It's weird. You need to. It's hard to explain. I felt when we were standing at the church, but you had spirits beside you. They were just standing beside you, watching, deciding will we talk to them, will we not. But at the back, there was, spirit there that was unsure of you and didn't really want you there. And just, they were watching to see what your intentions were. Does that make sense?
100%.
It's just, it's the best way I can explain it. No, this is the thing with investigations. We cannot come on and say what we felt or, how we felt and the atmospheres, etc. But to really know what somebody's talking about, you have to actually go there, I think, and experience it for yourself.
Yep.
And somebody might go there and say, no, I've never felt a thing, or somebody might go and say, I see what you're talking about now. I felt the same kind of thing.
It really depends on not necessarily how much you're open, but just how genuine, how respectful. Yeah, like if you got with 10 people that are just there to go and see it, have a walk about, look at the gravestones, have a laugh or whatever. There's no paranormal in your mind. You're not going to get activity. But if you go there searching for activity and showing how respectful you are to the location as well as your spirits, then they might come forward as well. Well, I think it'd be a good thing maybe. I think, say I was to go myself, because it's, or yourself, were to go to that location, it's one-on-one direct communication. There's no so many people there, 3, 4, 5 people asking questions. It's just you and the spirits. So I think it's a possibility that you could get more communication.
Well, that's what I was going to say right earlier on. I'm going to go down myself one night, and I'm going to take one of your camping chairs down, and I'm just going to sit at the wall bit, as I call it, the church bit, and I'll pause it if possible. I'll do it as a live, and sit there for maybe, I don't know, half an hour, whatever, and see what I get, and then I'll go up to the back bit and do the same thing. And as you say, just a one-to-one. Respect is key when it comes to working with spirit. It's like I say, treat people how you wish to be treated. Humans exactly bang on.
I wonder without, but just the disrespect sort of thing there. Now, obviously we were having a wee chat about obviously camping and whatnot. I wonder if that might be good to hear kind of a camping, but not necessarily in the Kirk, but in the surrounding areas.
To camp?
Just like about a wee 2-man tent each, and going to the trees, or also there's a path that kind of feeds in, and camp up there. You're no basically camping in the Kirk, just in the outskirts. But investigate as well. Don't know, maybe that could be a possibility.
I mean, we've the big gear in the wee as I call them. So it's I know there's fields on about it. I'm not sure who owns them.
I don't mean by necessarily just get in and we'll pitch here. You know what I mean? Also, respectful's one of the main things. So just basically pitch a tent and then go and investigate what we're doing. Back to the tents, and then just spend like a full night. Maybe better, between 10 o'clock at night to 6 in the morning. So I don't know. It could be a possibility.
I know we're wanting to do that at lockdown. Sarah's saying, no, there's sheep. Sarah's got this phobia. She's got sheep phobia. She's getting there, but she can get a bit closer to them.
I was going to say there's sheep at lockdown, but there is, but well, I've said it now. So I share your goose because there's sheep at lockdown.
There's sheep everywhere, but I mean, it's somebody you can't. It's like coos. You can't avoid coos. But I mean, I think, see, we've been cut maybe about 8 times now, roughly, maybe, and people might see me do this, they might tell me I'm talking crap, but I think you need to go. I think the spirits we've spoken about this in quite a few lives, that the more you go to a location, the more comfortable spirit gets with you because they remember you, you know.
Yep.
And I think now that the spirits that hang about that kind of wall area, for want of a better word, actually know us now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we seem to be getting more. As you know, the last time we were there, every time we went, we picked up on a little girl, but we've never ever been able to work out who she is, get a name, nothing. But in the last investigation we done there, we got a name when you had the gear on. And that name came through 3 times. Every time we asked.
Yep. That's Lisa that came through.
That was Lisa.
When we were doing the necro, also we're having a chat amongst ourselves, we're like, Lisa's quite an original name, so to speak. So you've got Liza or Elizabeth. Is that maybe short for that? But what basically took my mind and blew my mind away was is it Trent? No, it's not Trent, is it?
Sten.
Aye. He says it sounded like murder.
Mm-hmm.
So you asked if Lisa was murdered, and then the screaming box had went. And then once that stopped, you asked Lisa, if that is definitely you, and to basically validate that is you, can you let that go again? And it went again.
It went again. Sten's the silent hunter. Give him a wee look out. Sten actually amazed me because Sten put in the comments what he picked up on. And he didn't know where we were. And he'd obviously never seen the place before, but Sten told me in the comments that he picked up on a male and a little girl and a dominant male. Well, you realise that every time we've been there, we've said that we picked up on this dominant male and a little girl. Every single time we've been there. And Sten was spot on. He was also spot on. He says there was 2 trees and it was the entrance or exit to somewhere. But round at that back bit, at the cage bit, there's 2 trees right at where the gate would have been. And so he actually... He amazed me with that. But the first thing is, right, you say about the murder, that Sten mailed me later on. And now, as far as we know, the apps and that, the voice banks in them, you can tell I'm not technically minded, can you? But the words are in English, you know. But the words that we were getting through were in a Scottish accent. It's the word murd, M-U-R-D-A. That's how we pronounce it up here. Instead of murder, you know. That itself, as you say, it's Scottish. So how can I really don't see how the Necrophonic can, do that.
That's one thing I say about the Necro, is there is times we hear like a really strong, broad Scottish accent coming through, and that always blows my mind. And I know there's people that understand Scottish, right? Like things we say, we understand if we're talking to each other. We speak too quick and this and that, but it's the reaction. And when you look at each other, you're like, did I just say that? And it was like a broad Scottish accent. But with the murder, I think I mentioned this earlier, Scott, was could it possibly be at least it's saying mum, dad?
Aye, as I say, excuse me. Aye, that's a possibility because mum and dad. Where's your dad? That's the way the Scottish people say dad. Or my dad's in. So that is another one.
Or Modda.
Modda.
Being mum, dad being dad.
Modda. Well, aye, that's the thing. It's what a puzzle. I should try to put it all together.
I love it. I do.
You know,
It's I honestly can't. You know, I think we've been out together a couple of times now, and it's my mind just it goes beyond. But I just love the fact here. It's just things that you can't explain, like something like murder or murder. Um,
as Lisa getting more comfortable with his now, and say, right, well, I'm going to talk to them more because we seem to be getting more. I mean, Lisa was constant,
yep.
you know, and Ian as well. Is Ian the father? Maybe, as we thought before, is he as Lisa's dad? But I think I get when we were doing the other day and we were getting Lisa. I get the feeling that she's getting braver for what you know. She's getting more confident in us because before she would be apprehensive. You know, she's like a kid. We've no idea what age she is. You know, I've always had in my head between 10 and 12 for some reason. But obviously she's got to be apprehensive. But the more she sees these people, it's like, wait a minute, these people are okay, you know. And she's starting to come out of shell a bit. That's what you know. And so I'm thinking, the more we go, are we going to get more and more? So are we going to find out if it was a murder or if she's talking about her mum and dad?
Mm-hmm. See, the thing is as well, you mentioned mum and dad as well. So we got Ian. They came through the very first time we collaborated with ourselves. Came through quite strongly, and the day it came through quite strongly.
Mm-hmm.
Ian, the first time we collaborated with ourselves, we got an EVP that David done, and it came through Mr. Tate on the next floor with a female voice, and Ian, they're here with a female voice. I wonder if Ian is possibly the father, and this female voice is the mother, and the mother is basically saying, Ian, they're here, protect your daughter, protect Lisa, or Liza, or Elizabeth. So I wonder if they're all connected, but it's just trying to get the surname.
Aye. Ed was saying that she's speaking Gaelic. It's possible.
Yes.
I'm going to make a note of that actually, Edward. I would never think of that.
Could be Lan as well, possible. It could be or Gaelic, Lan. We don't know, but as you say, you may return the kind of the spirits get comfortable and they start trusting you. Although I like to go to a location and be trusted straight away. No straight away, but like show them that I'm here, you know, open yourselves, let us know. But what gets my brain boggling is why do spirits need to be so like they'll tell you a name. Right, that's fine. We'll get a name. Henry. What age are you, Henry? We don't know. What's your surname, Henry? We don't know. Henry, have you got kids? Yes. So his name's Henry, and he's telling you kids. Why not tell us his name, his age, and whatnot? It's like a puzzle. It's weird. I can't explain it.
One theory I've got with that, and this might sound totally absurd, you know, but it's a paranormal, so sometimes nothing makes sense. And folk can laugh at me for this, but I've been told quite a few times also spirit has no concept of time. You know, they can't tell what a day or a week is. So we were there 2 weeks ago, you know. So 2 weeks ago we get the name for Toxic Ian. Today we get the name Ian as well. So that's like a 2 week gap for us. But for spirit, who's to say that it's just like feels like seconds to them? You know, they don't actually apprehend that, well, it's been 2 weeks since he's been here. You know, to them it could just be a few seconds ago.
Who's to say that when we first done a collaboration application and we've left and the spirits are communicating with us, they can genuinely communicate with each other and it says, they were amazing asking questions, but I was trying to tell them this and I was trying to tell them that, but then they asked another question. Oh, I hope they come back. And then lo and behold, we go in the morning, today, and they go, they've just returned. Oh, this is what I'm waiting for. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I started the necro, the first thing I asked was Ian, and I think I pulled your side, Scott, and I says, I think I actually on live. I says, Ian, are you here with us? And through necro, he said yes. You know, it could be the fact that he has been waiting for us to return. Could be the fact that he's feel comfortable with us being there. We don't know. Like,
that's what makes it so. I'll give this comments first, but spirits are sometimes spirits are easy to give their names, as some believe that the name gives power. That's Scott, I've heard that many times, that spirits have no time. We see, to me, I've heard that quite a few times, and I believe that spirits don't. I mean, I heard a saying years ago that 1,000 years is but a second, and a second is but 1,000 years, something like that. So they don't actually recognise time. Or maybe they're telling you what's important to them, their name, their children, their important second name and age is unimportant to them. You know, that's another theory, as it says, Edward, because as some believe the name gives power. See, that's the time with the paranormal. We spoke about there's that many legs to it. You know, there's that many possibilities, theories, ideas that you could drive yourself insane, literally, try to think it, you know. I think you need to get in and there'll be a stream, it'll be a bit, give StreamYard permission or something. You need to click on that.
In the comments.
Bring your name up. But I do think that Ian and Lisa definitely related. And the female, there's a good chance she's the mother. Facebook user. There's two Facebook users, Laura. Sten, we know Sten because he was there and he put in his question and everything. But the other Facebook user's Lindsay, that was there Wednesday day. So I think that the mother is there, and they're just getting more used to this. I think they're starting to open up a wee bit, especially Lisa. But they're still a wee bit cautious, but they're sort of, you know, well, let's give these people a chance. I know it sounds totally absurd, but at the end of the day, my point, my way of thinking is spirits were people at one point, you know, flesh and blood.
Oh.
And in the physical life, you know, if you meet somebody and keep meeting them, you say, well, he's okay, you know, but I'm going to hold back just a wee bit. But that's the same as spirit. They're not any different, except you just don't have a body.
Well, it's like we take our time and efforts and schedule things and what equipment we're taking and whatnot to communicate with spirits. But who's to say spirits are not the same as trying to communicate with us? You know what I mean? Sometimes you go to a location and you spend 2, 3, 4 hours to communicate with a spirit, and you might get the flashing bulb on. Who's to say that while we're there, the spirits, they're trying the exact same thing? You know what I mean? They're trying to communicate with us as much as we're trying to communicate with them.
Yeah. We think we had that exact scenario at Caldwell. When we first done our first investigation right off the bat was amazing. Everything we go at, we get the Whispering Lady, I know. And we had a look back, and there wasn't any paranormal history to Caldwell at all. You know, no ghosts. There was one report of a ghostly fox. Somebody had seen a grey fox, but you know yourself, it's in the middle of the country, so, you know, it can be in a car passing a fox in the headlights and it looks grey, whatever, silver. But every time we went to Caldwell, we seemed to get bombarded with the more and more evidence and stuff, and that's what it seemed like, that spirit were finally given. It's as if they say, well, here, you know, here's somebody here we can talk to, you know, so let's do what we can to let them know we're here.
Devil.
You know,
Could I just give me 2 seconds? Just I'll put it back in 2 seconds. Sorry.
Just don't leave me myself too long. Facebook's been dodgy, but I'm still watching. That's fair. That's fine. They're still here, buddy. So what do you guys think about spirit? Do you think every chance they get to communicate, they're going to, you know, do it? Or do you think some might be apprehensive, holding back? Or do you think some just like taking the mickey? Because we think that was happening today as well, which we'll go into. They're just like playing about with you, and just giving you wee bits and pieces, or just ignoring you, basically, just standing there watching you, having a laugh. Let us know what you think in the comments. But Sten, you did make some good points today. As I say, with the female, the male and the child, and then with the 2 trees. Cat as well. Hi, Dennis, buddy. Rig will be back in a minute. I think he's just away to a wee bit of business. So you're stuck with me for a couple of minutes until he comes back. Dennis, we're just getting back our investigation at Loudon today. We went to Loudon Kirk this morning, and it was quite an eventful morning, shall we say. With different gadgets going off and quite a lot of names and that came through the Necrophonic. And so we thought we'd do a wee live just to run out it. Many visits, some are eager to chat, some are nervous. And aye, exactly. But you know, then you get the grumpy ones that don't want to chat, they're annoyed. You just say, oh, go away, leave me alone. And that's when a lot of people mistake them for, you know, the old demonic comes into play then.
Apologies.
No, you got to, you know, just read through the comments. I think it's a much, the more you go to a place and show respect and show you're no threat, the more they will open up. I also think today proved that spirit can also be playful. Aye, we've seen that. I feel the spirit's up to them, same as humans. Speak or don't. Yep, aye, exactly. You know, I've said this a few times. You can have all the tech in the world with you, an investigation, and you can sit there for hours and hours with thousands of pounds worth of gadgets. But at the end of the day, if a spirit doesn't want to talk to you, you're not going to, it doesn't matter what gadget you've got or camera or whatever, you're not going to get squat. You know, the spirit could be sitting facing you, looking at you. He's just like, I'm not talking to you, so I'm just going to watch you sit here.
Is that almost like a spirit that's in the living world when they were here? They could be so stubborn. Mm-hmm. When they pass away, they're still the same.
Aye.
I believe it's not like, I'm so stubborn when I pass away. Oh no, I've come across a new light, and they're still the same. They're still the same, as you said earlier, Scott. You're in a shell. They're in a shell. I believe when you are in the living world, when you pass away, you are in the spirit world. That's you. That's your spirit. That's what you believe in and your personality, and if you're laugh or you're stubborn or you're grumpy, whatever. That's the person you are as well, because that is you. You're just a shell.
So I mean, what people interpret as a negative spirit, you know, demonic or negative spirit, just says could be a grumpy old man. You know, I mean, no doubt, everybody's life I've known a grumpy old man that lived down the street or something like that. You know, when people say, "Oh, it's demonic, it's negative," but it could just be a grumpy old man that says, "Do you know what? I could have been annoyed with people in life. I can't imagine, you know, over here."
Huh? How come these people visit me? I don't want them to visit me. Next minute when they pass away, how come there's still people visiting me? You know what I mean? They might just want to be left alone, and then when they pass away, there's still people coming to communicate, and they start getting frustrated.
There's Nicholas asking, do you think that your relatives are with you and try to help in spirit world? And try to help in spirit world to come forward and speak? I've had proof of that, Nicola, years and years and years ago. I went to a place in Glasgow, Lylands Hall, just at Shawlands. And I went to, no, I'd never been to this place before. It's a spiritualist church. It was a last minute thing. I went. I just jumped in the motor. It was a Thursday night, started at 7. I jumped in the motor back at 6. Didn't tell anybody I just went. And so I walked in, nobody knew me, and sat down in the medium. She must have been her late 50s. She came straight to me. The first thing she told me was, you've got a daughter in the spirit world called Donna, and she's been sitting on your knee since she came in. And I lost a daughter when she was just under 6 months, called Donna. I've got a D on my hand for Donna. This woman told me she's been sitting on your knee since she came in. She also told me about a wee old lady that came to see me, and she described her kind of typical granny. But then she said to me, her hands were doing at her waist, but she's doing this at her waist. She says, you'll know her by this. And long story short, my grandma was about 4'2", and she was tiny. And she wore one of the old-fashioned aprons, the pinny kind of thing. But the tires only were that long, it wrapped around her twice. And she was always tying it and untying it all day. And it used to drive me and my brother insane. We used to say, Gran, will you leave it? Because you're driving us nuts. And this was a constant tying. Oh, it's too tight or it's too loose. And this woman told me, your gang's here with you. So I do believe, and there's no way she could have known the thing. She told me other stuff as well about my dad and about an ex-girlfriend. And she was absolutely spot on. And this woman didn't know me for Adam. So I do believe your relatives stay with you. Or they may not stay beside you, but they still keep watch on you. And they'll come forward if they really, if they think you really, really need their help. Whether you're in a dark place or, whatever. And that's when they'll come forward and maybe try and make yourself known. That's my thoughts on
it. I would go, I think I told you a story before, Scott, was when I first started a paranormal team when I was 18, and well before social media, well before. And a wee woman, Mary, took me into the kitchen, and she told me how my mother passed away, the cause of her death, and where she was buried. And straight away, I'm thinking, she knows something in my family. She got to, but she never. And that absolutely blew my mind. With Nicola's question there, do we think that they're with us a day? Now, saying that is because I can go to a location and I don't really pick up on it. I'm not really open-minded. I'm not one to say, oh, did you hear that? Or that was this and that was that. And whatnot. I don't really feel much. But again, that could be down to my mother protecting me as she did it. Because I was the youngest in the family. I was the only son. So I've got 5 sisters and I was the only son. And she was dead protective of me. So it could be her protecting me from the spirits. Basically saying, don't go near him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's why I don't really feel much. But to the location this morning, when I heard that whisper, a female whisper, that could be that my mother wasn't there at the time. She kind of stopped me from hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. I mean, two things that is that, I mean, obviously, so we pass away when we got a wife, husband, kids. as we've just been talking about, then, you know, you're still the same spirit as you were in life, and you love your family in life, so you still love them, and you'll still be concerned about them. You'll still want to make sure they're okay, you know, and try and visit them or whatever, wherever you possibly can. I mean, I heard that whisper a couple of weeks ago, but you hearing it today, this is just my theory. You know, your mum will obviously look over you, protect you, but maybe she didn't see this woman as a threat.
Could be a possibility. Yep.
Maybe this woman's a gentle soul or a light soul, and your mum's like, you know, well, that woman's okay. You can talk to her, or you can talk to her. And
I'm the first person to say, like, I don't really feel it. Like the most I'll feel is usually the usual. You go and turn the light out in the hallway at night, and it's like, oh, rush back to bed. You feel that somebody's watching you. I'm not one to say I go here and feel this and feel that. Because that's not me. I go to communicate with the spirits, but it could be the fact that my mother is stopping the spirits make me kind of feel what they feel. Possibility.
I mean, I pick up on spirit randomly. I've been with a team that picked up and stuff, but I've not said anything because you don't want people thinking, you know, he's just saying that, you know, he's just because we're doing an investigation. But there is the odd time I'll pick up on something. Again, Caldwell, I picked up on this young male down at the swing park because we got the swings were. He was there on the left hand side. He just felt as if he was watching all the time. So it is quite random with me. Laura's put a big comment up. Take for example, when we were today, a woman came through and mentioned family names. Things my family own. Things my family own. I can't read that. Why can I not read that comment? Things my family only knew, and I went home and found out my great-great-grandmother's buried in a pauper's grave in the location we were in. I felt she wanted family to know she was there and she wanted me, you know. Again, very, very possible. So that's why I've been picking up Mary a few times at different locations. I don't know, maybe Dency's wife or mum or relative, possibly. But I mean, get back to the activity we go at the wall. There was just too much to debunk, and we just can't explain it. Luckily, we did it as a live, so it is on our group page. Obviously, our group's private, so I'm going to see Sarah, see if there's a way we can send it to yourself, so folk can see it. Because it's all right us sitting here talking about it, but as we always say, if you get great evidence, great footage, then you should post it. So I'm see how that will work, because obviously we want people to see what or see or hear what we were getting.
If you get what you believe is paranormal, it's good to put it up for the members to see as well and give their perception on it.
Aye.
Because there could be a cause of why it's happening and whatnot. You know what I mean? And kind of break it down and go, right, that was maybe paranormal. But with the necro, the reason I wrote necro down, the reason why I wrote necro down is because you kind of started with necro this morning. You were kind of about your live and stuff. So in the necro, I basically asked Ian, are you with us? And it came through, yes. And I think I pulled your side and I mentioned it to you. We got Lisa as well. We get John. Now, the big thing is, John and Ian are the same name, which I will never understand.
I don't understand that either.
No, understand. No, understand that.
I know, like you say, Jim can be called James, or James can be called Jim. William can be called Bill. It's termed as the same name, but the John and the Ian, that's a new one to me.
And I asked asked if John and Ian are the same spirit, and they came through saying yes on the necro. And at this point, I think Laura was recording it at this point.
Is it possible one's a first name and one's a middle name?
I asked for the surname as well, but nothing. As soon as I mentioned John and Ian, the same spirit, or the same person, it said yes.
Or maybe John's the surname, you know. Or, you know, there was an actress called Jill St. John. I don't know. It's Laura says she's got that. Is that one of the ones you sent to me, Laura? Laura sent me 2 files, which I've not had a chance to open and look at yet. She sent me 2 files and send anywhere. Maybe John was a surname.
Could be a possibility.
Maybe. Laura's saying nice, so I'll send you the tour rigger and I'll have a look at them as well. So anyway, sorry, but carry on.
We got, so during the necro, we get the screaming box going a lot. Now, we try to debunk that due to being sunlight, flies, and whatnot. Walked up to it maybe about 2 foot, and then that's when I decided to go. But at some stage, we're maybe a good 12 foot. And it was gone constant. And the thing is, back to the mother thing with Lisa. You called out and asked, Lisa, have you murdered here? And the screaming box had went. And then you said, Lisa, to validate that as you, can you make that box go again? And then the screaming box went.
Aye, right on cue.
Yep. We took into consideration possibly the wind. It's motion detected, plus it was sitting. So generally, if me yourself walk up to the screaming box and blow, they'd probably feel off. It was just trying to get it as steady as possible. No steady, but like as flush, straight. But there was wind coming through, and if it was the case of the wind, it would have blown the box off the gravestone. But it's only in motion. That's how it works, in motion. But it's the fact that when you ask the questions, it happened. The K2 was fluctuating. And then through the necro, we got step away. So as soon as we get that, the K2 had stopped and the screaming box had went. K2 then fluctuated again. We then get step away again through the necro. K2 stopped and then the screaming box had went. Which blew my mind.
See, I was totally surprised by the amount of reaction we got today. And we're not saying we're not doing this, you know, some folk might watch this out, or they're just blowing the rain trumpet. But we're no, it's luckily it's all on camera. You know, there might be the odd wee bit, it's no, just the odd wee word or whatever, wee flash of cables, but the 95% of it is all on camera. Robert Burns. Is Robert Burns anything to do with Loudon? I don't think it's to do with Alloway Kirk. I don't know if I write that down actually, Dennis. You know, yeah, again, that's something else. Is Robert Burns connected to it? Because also it's inertia, and Robert Burns was everywhere basically. Certainly best evidence I've seen to date. See, that's it. I agree with Laura. It's, you know, also last year we get fantastic evidence, but this Loudon Kirk, we never expected it to yield. Listen to me being all posh, to yield evidence to us. You know, when we went this morning, I was hoping we'd get some, you know, as the same as everybody else does, we hope we get some activity, but I never expected to get the amount that we did, you know, between the gadgets and the necrophonic. I mean, we get quite a lot on queue, on demand, you know, answer-wise, and you can't just put that down to coincidence.
No.
You know, that's no, maybe once, twice, possibly, you know, coincidence, but everything we go seems to be on demand. It's as if we were having a conversation with them, except their answers are yes and no times, basically, which, let's face it, you know, we can understand that. But we were still getting answers to our questions when they were, more or less when they were asked. You know, so that suggests to me that Ian and Lisa, they were standing next to us, basically. And, you know, as nuts as it might sound, they were standing next to us, and then when we ask a question, they go that, you know, whatever way they made that box go off, they say, right, box.
Well, we got the whisper, and as I mentioned earlier, like, I'm the one to be open and no, but I don't really hear much like that. But I heard a whisper, a female whisper. What's interesting is, maybe about 15, 20 minutes later, my partner Lindsay and Laura, they'd mentioned they heard some sort of whisper or noise, and they reacted at the exact same time, which was strange. So it could be that spirits get enough energy, enough drive, abilities to let you hear them in person. They sound like, rather than try to put it through like apps or spirit boxes or whatnot. But again, we don't know how much energy they really need to use
to make it happen.
Just to make it happen.
So that was,
we always go about energy and stuff. We don't know that. Like, we go like, use your energy or use as much energy you can to touch your ball. They could be full of energy. You know what I mean? We don't know that. Is that possibly down to films, shows, all this energy stuff? Like, they could be full of energy. They could generally just walk up and touch a ball.
We don't know. You know, I mean, as you say, films and TV shows, etc. You know, you need a certain amount of energy to do it, and maybe you do need to let people once you pass over. This is the way you all worked on location to our spirit. For me, you smashed it. Keep being you. Look forward to watching more. Thank you very much, Facebook user. I think that's Sten. Maybe if it's no Sten, then I'm sorry. You see that suggests to me spirit's capable of doing that. Is it an older spirit? I don't know if it was yourselves we were talking to or no. So, on another live, we'll talk about this. The longer, yes, that's Sten, buddy. The longer you're over. In fact, that's what it was. It was when you did the worries, and I was in the chat, and the cat ball moved or something, and I said it depends on the age of the spirit.
Okay.
Was that? It was just recent. It was a few weeks back.
The cat ball moved.
Should have something moved. You covered on your Hangover show. I think it was the second last show you done on Hangover.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't know the location. I know. I don't mean.
It was David. He was sitting on the floor, and he looks into the other room like this. Did he hear something? He kept hearing footsteps. We were talking about a dominant male being there. No very nice. it was only a really recent 4 or 5 weeks or something. It's not that long ago, but it says the age of the spirit, so if a spirit can learn to do this, does that mean it's not about looking at an older spirit?
No, that was a private location.
A private one. I remember you talking about that, so to me, has the spirit been over longer and it's learned how to do all the bits and pieces?
Like a spirit's passed away in the 1800s, but with so many investigators coming with new technology, did they get used to that technology? Did they understand why it's there?
Aye, because
You know what I mean? When you pass away in the spirit world, do you still move on? Like once you're in the spirit world, do you understand the living and move on for that and understand technology and this and that and social media, so to speak, rather than be pass away in the 1800s and then that is all you know is 1800s.
I would say, just my opinion, I would say that you still get the capacity to learn. Because put it this way, as we've just been talking about, the more you go to a location, the more spirit will get used to you, and remember you. So to me, if a spirit can remember a person, or an investigator, whatever, then they can remember other stuff as well.
So, hey, come on. What? Go say hi. Just say it's gone. See, hello. Hi.
Hi.
Oh, there you go.
Right, come on.
Just wanted to say hi.
That's good enough.
What?
Right.
I know. It's getting tight, which means it's going to burst.
Not your daddy.
So that's problem. I think,
Fell off the doll.
Dennis, I think that may have been you possibly chatting about the castle location when the ball came off the doll and the doll had fell over again, which blew my mind. And see, thing is, see with the paranormal world, it's like, I've got 10 years, I get 15 years, 25 years, I get this, I get that. That doesn't matter because, see, at the end of the day, you're trying to explain it as much as what I can. We're all in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
But
you can have more experience in the part of this, that's where this expert thing comes in,
That's all the time. Sorry, Scott, it's, my phone's starting to go crackly. Again.
You still hear us all right?
Right, it's doing that robot noise. I've tried it all. Yeah. I'll need to come in back in. Apologies. I don't know why it does it, but it's clear when I talk. But as soon as you talk, it's like.
If you go and then pop back in, maybe that'll thing it. Looking forward to seeing the footage we caught going out to go and get a young lady to tell the young lady Laura I said good night, and we'll see her tomorrow. Tell her to get to sleep. So do you think, folks, that the longer a spirit's over, the more they learn, and they keep. I think they keep learning once we pass over. As I just says, if we can remember faces going to a certain location, and they can learn, they can remember other stuff, and if they watch, they're going to come back again.
Apologies. All good?
I can hear you fine, see you fine.
I don't know why it's. I want to even record it and show you. It kind of goes at as if you've just stuck it in a tin pipe.
I don't know. You talk to the wrong person when it comes to tech. But No, as I say, as I just said there, a lot of folk watching, if a spirit can remember, take Loud and Cut, Lisa, for example, I think she remembers us, that she's getting to know us. So if they can learn that way, they can remember a person, then I'm sure they can remember, somebody using a K2 meter or whatever, and they know how to, well, he did it this way and that way, and they know how to, go about it, basically. That's just my thoughts on it.
No, definitely. But on the same, it's like, so we were there first thing this morning, and I strongly believe in communication with Ian, Lisa, Katrina, who's one of them?
Christina, I want to come to that. I find that.
Christina, yep. And so, but we left, again, we don't know how many people have been there after us. How many teams or individual people that's maybe disrespected them or try to communicate, get them kind of confused.
Mm-hmm.
And see, man, bring maybe different technology or the spirit might find that technology that this team's brought easier to use to communicate rather than a REM pod. Or
yeah, I think.
I genuinely think. Oh, sorry for in here, Scott. I genuinely think old school paranormal is the best way.
Aye, plain and simple.
You're getting in nowadays. You're getting in with so much technology, so much lights and motion things and balls and whatnot. Just go in there, being yourself and communicating. But again, on the same hand, if you go to a location that you spent £500 on, with 5, 6, 7 members, and you go in there and you're asking questions, individually asking different questions. If you go in there yourself, just yourself, and ask questions, you will possibly get more activity than what you would get in as a team. Because you're just one-on-one, direct questions. They're concentrating on you rather than 6 different people with 6 different devices or questions. So it's with the person I'm all new. When I pass away, I can see myself being that same person.
Exactly right. I'll still be the same lovable guy that always was.
It comes down to if I get the abilities to physically move something, if I get the abilities to physically light up this box, they understand this. Like back in the 1800s, I'm rabbiting on. 1800s. So there was paranormal investigators back then trying to communicate with people. They're trying to communicate with the dead. So as time's moved on, these people trying to communicate with the dead have now passed on. Where are they? Can they just easily communicate? Because they can communicate with the dead, are they struggling to communicate with the living? As much frustrating it is, and patience and equipment to communicate with the dead, are they the same trying to communicate with the living?
Aye, as I say, as a kind of thin wall, and they're here, we're there, and we're both trying to, make that.
It's arm length distance. It's can they see us? You know what I mean? Like, can they see us? And there's people that say, oh, they can. There's people that say they can't. But at the end of the day, who are these people? Because we don't know. They don't know. You know what I mean? Nobody knows.
I mean, on the point of can they see us, we've done investigation before, and we've had the same. You know, we've heard it through the app. The setting saying they can see you. You know, so obviously to me, also we can't see them. They maybe don't know that. Maybe they don't realise that we cannot see them, but they can see us. Like I said at Loudon, when the woman says, "Ian, they're here." So does that mean that she's standing? She can see us. Well, walking in.
I've had questions like colour top of mail before SPIG. There was a time we went and investigated well before SPIG, and I had red gloves on, and asked, "Can you tell me the colour of the gloves?" And it came through red. But again, is it like if you pass away blind, right? Are you in the spirit world blind?
See, no, I don't believe that, because blindness is a physical thing. You know, it's your eyes that give up or whatever, so it's a physical thing. And it's the same if you're, disabled in some way. You know, that you leave that here because it's physical. You know, it's your body that's, it's your physical eyes that gave up. That's just my thinking, so when you do over, you can see, because you don't need your eyes anymore. So, or maybe your legs didn't work, or, maybe you were paralysed with the neck down. When you move to the other side, then obviously you've not got a body, as such, but you're no longer paralysed because that paralysed physical body has been left behind. See, the own rigger, it's a vessel. It's like, a car. You got an old car, maybe the engine's not working, so you leave that behind and you go to another one. It does work.
No, definitely.
Same kind of principle. But like the back bit, the rear bit really fascinated me today, because every time we've been there, we're picked up on this dominant male, and Cat as well for exposures, and Stead as we said that it felt being watched. We've always felt it being watched up there. We can never work it out, and the girls in the team don't like going down to that area, especially at night time when it gets really dark. They do not like going near there. But the day I felt they get answers to who's there, because also the headstone's there, and then we go through the app, Christina. Now, Christina's on that headstone. That so to me that's no coincidence. And then we asked if Christina was the mother, and it came through mum.
Yep.
So right away the Christina word blew me away. Then the mum came through as well, quite clear as day. And then at the top of the headstone, the name, I think it's James Gillespie, but it's a family plot. And just by chance, I says, is it James that's watching us? Does James stand and watch us for over there? And the box went off. And that's again, is it James or you? And the box went off again.
Well, then the interesting thing is that you had mentioned. Oh, sorry, Christina came through the necro. You were then in the fence trimmer, so to speak. You mentioned light up or make the black box go, which you did. But through the necro, it said move, and then it said bastard, move, and then the screaming box had been lifted.
That was going nuts. Sten picked up on the family. Sten actually emailed me again later. He says, because I told them there's like 2 or 3 parts to their lives, I say, and he says that he was picking up a family connection. And basically, I said to him, I wasn't going to tell him anything about it. I just let him watch it and see what his input was. But when he says family connection, and he got it spot on as well. But I bastard and move. It was that James telling us, look, get away from my family.
It was as if when you were there at the gravestone, but when you're at the gravestone, you get the fence surrounding, so you're kind of in that enclosed area. And you mentioned if you light up that black box, I'll leave.
Aye, that's right. Aye.
The black box at the vent, the screaming box at the vent, and then through a necro it said, "Bastard, move, bastard."
Aye.
That's when you come out. And then the box went constant. We were about a good 15 foot away.
They work out. I know it's a kind of motion sensor thing. But first, Laura and Lindsay basically been told to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
They get told to go. That's why I went in and said, well, if you're going to tell the girls to get out, tell me to get out. I'm not moving until you make that go off. Then I'll move. And then, it did. But the screaming box, it didn't matter where you stood. It kept going off. And, there was a few of the times we weren't standing right in front of it, we were standing away to the side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was times we were standing beside it and it go off. Then other times we were standing beside it, it didn't go off.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember one time I was standing just a few feet away from it and it went off. I thought maybe that's me. So I started moving about and it didn't go back off. But when I moved away, again, it went off.
Mm-hmm.
I can't explain it, but to me, it answers a big question today. And people might say I'm jumping the gun and all the rest of it, but you need to actually go to the place for it to make sense. I think it's a family plot. There's kids in there, and to get Christina through the necrophonic act and then see her name on the headstone, explain that one. And then to get an intelligent response twice when I asked if it was James that was watching this. To me, James was the father. He was the head of the household. And also Christina's there. But he's watching and he does not like anybody coming near his family, basically. I know it sounds absurd, but all the week, this is about a puzzle. If you got all these wee bits and they start to fit together and you can make sense of it. And to me, that's what it is. And that's who the male is at the back that walks up and down that bit with a kind of dominant feeling. I think it's James, the father.
Or the same, I don't know why I feel sound like a penis. What the same sense, but it's like you could work so hard to go to these locations and build relationships with these spirits, and then when it really came down to nitty gritty, and the cog worked, they're just so stubborn that they will not release anything else. But I mean, it's kind of comes to that.
Aye, it's a case of right. You've had enough time out.
It's like we personally think it's like personal with the spirits, with the names and dates and or whatever. But as it gets on, that's nothing. They have so many stories that you just do not want to release.
Mm-hmm.
Till let it out. Like there could be so many hidden stories in that location that we could find out, and then nobody's known about. And then when you release it, that's when it digs deeper, and it kind of snowball effect, and then it actually is something. It's meant to be something. It's just it blows my mind, and I can honestly say, like, myself and the people that are in SPIG, the members, we've took our time to bring them in, and we are fully legit. And it doesn't matter how much experience you've got, we will never understand, and that is why we do it.
Aye, exactly. Oh, there's Mr. Murphy. He's up and about. Hi, Mr. Murphy. Hope you're doing well, buddy. That's Andy Murphy for G. This is a group I've known him for months and months. He does a lighter side with Charlie me as well. GWPS UK, Ghost Whispers Paranormal, I think, UK, something like that. He'll probably remind me. He keeps adding letters onto the group's name for some reason. We're fine, buddy. We're just recapping today's investigation. But as you say, Digger, you can have X amount of years. You're never going to learn it all. And the other thing I found was when you heard that kind of female laugh, we'll call it, out to the left-hand side of that plot, out to the cage. To me, I don't know, again, it's a puzzle. You're putting it together. You can be wrong, you can be right. Could that have been Lisa, who's followed us round?
Possibility.
And it's funny that we've got these gadgets and we're all going nuts. And I mean, because let's face it, we were a bit confused. We could not work out why they were all going and stuff. So she's standing there watching us thinking, this is funny. I like this.
It could be she's that used to equipment. Back to the earlier question. She could be that used to equipment that she actually knows how to respond to people, like through audio, like so we can hear her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Rather than try to use equipment, she might just be that used to it. It could be fucking 50 years that she's been.
She's been
communication with the living. We go there and think, oh, we're the first people, or we're the second people who's communicated, but it could be years and years and years.
Sten's saying, if this is Lisa's father who's protecting her from what I see as male questions towards her daughter, maybe next time you could try a female approach if that makes sense and maybe allow more response. Possibly, that's with her dad, to be fair, Sarah, Lindsay, Laura, Gail, to ask questions. It's something you can try. It's trial and error, really, isn't it? But I definitely, after the day that we're building a better picture aloud, and that there's two. I'm not just saying these are the only spirits there. There's probably other ones there that were just not encountered yet. But there's two families there. Lisa's family and then Christina's family.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've established. I'm not saying that we've proved it. Mystery solved, because there's no. We're just going by all the wee bits and pieces we've picked up on and try to piece them together. My thinking is there's two separate families there, and they tend to stay away from each other. Lisa can be kind of playful and jump about, but the two families either maybe they don't know that each other's there. Can they see each other? Are they still in their own time space?
Yep.
That's another question. It could bust your brain with the amount of questions upon questions. Can Lisa's family see Christina's family, or are they two stuck in separate timelines? Do they, or maybe they fell out. It's just, you would drive yourself nuts with the question, but definitely two families. The wee girl, she likes to jump about, have a laugh. Christina, James, the head of Christina's family, he's very protective. Doesn't like anybody near his family. It's starting to get a wee bit more relaxed, I think. but then there's this get the Tate. Lindsay and Laurie said there was a lot of headstones back.
I need to go and check the vein. 2 seconds. All right.
I've always got a spirit. Can see all the spirit says. Well, that's possible. That's what can spirits see each other? If you're a different era in time, see you get a spirit for the 1600s, and then you go on for the 1800s. They're both buried in the same, kirkyard. Can they see each other? Do they know each other exists? Are you stuck in their own kind of timeline? Another question. How do we prove that? Is it possible to prove that? Probably not. Maybe sometime in the future, somebody will come up with a way of proving that. Who knows? But this is what we love about the paranormal. Nobody knows. And I say, all these people say they're experts in the paranormal. Bollocks. You can't be an expert in a field that keeps changing daily. Every day there's something new. You can't be an expert with something like that. You can have more experience. Expert, no, just doesn't happen. And as I say to Rigger there, question upon question, and then that leads to another question, and then the answer to one question might lead to a question about the answer. Thanks very much, buddy. Whatever you know, I just say it how it is, and this expert thing really grinds my gears, so it does. That's how I just say it's bollocks, basically. And I'll say to everybody's face, if somebody wants to question it to me, then fine. They can come on my panel and I'll talk to an expert in the paranormal, because that's sure as hell would love to meet one, which I'll probably never. But I forgot what I was saying there. What was I saying? Aye. So an answer to a question could produce a question to that answer, and it could just keep snowballing and snowballing. Coming back, that is making a lot of noise.
Apologies.
That's all right, buddy. I was just saying there about the questions of the paranormal. With the answer to one question, well, what I was saying first was, if you get a spirit for the 16th century and one for the 18th century, and they're buried in the same kirkyard, can they see each other, or are they stuck in their own timelines? Who knows? It's a question that might never be answered. Is it possible to answer it? And then, as I says, if we get an answer to one question, that can lead to a question about that answer.
Mm-hmm.
So we go into another one.
I think it's a possibility that they can communicate. For the simple fact is, so you get a spirit's born in the 1800s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll say a spirit's born in 1900, and then a spirit's born in 2000. Or, sorry, a person's born in 1900, right? And a person's born in 2000. That person in 1900 is 100-year-old, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they can communicate with that person born in 2000 as a baby. So that person in 2000 as a baby, but they're 100-year-old, so they can. I don't know. I don't even know.
You've lost me now.
Right. So my gran, for talking sake, was born in the 1900s, right?
Mm-hmm.
1900. I was born in 2000, right? Which makes my gran 100-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
right? I then get to 2-year-old. My gran is 102. She can still, she can, I can go to my gran, I'm 2, she's 102. She can have a wee chat with me as a baby.
Right, aye.
You know what I mean? It's that's a decade, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever it is. So I think it is a possibility. I know that was kind of a tough way to put it.
Oh, you know, we go there eventually. That's it. We go there eventually. Would it be the same as a Russian doll? Each layer would be a different spirit from a different time.
Somebody mentioned no.
See, one of the Russian dolls is one inside the other.
Oh, right, I thought it was dull. Apologies, Facebook user.
Each, different spirit from a different. That's another possibility. But the other thing I was thinking of is, spirits seeing each other. We done an investigation last year. Andy Murphy, who was on the chat, it was him that found all this because we sent him a recording and he ripped it apart and he came back. He sent me like 22 files. And some of the files, there's a woman saying, they can see you. She's telling this guy to be quiet, basically. So if you get a building, say, right, so a hospital, right, and maybe 10 people pass away for that hospital, different periods of time, but they all remain in the hospital for one reason or another, the spirit remains there. Can they see each other and talk to each other?
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
If we Betty passed away in 2010, right? It's now 2022. We Betty can communicate with us. 50 years down the line, she can communicate with other people. So what's to say that she can't communicate with other spirits?
Aye.
Like we're there communicating with spirits, maybe we believe of 1800s, right? 1800s, 1900s. This is 2022. These spirits are still communicating with us.
They're still
What's the difference? How can they not communicate with other spirits? Surely it's easier to communicate with other spirits rather than communicate with us.
I would imagine that it would be to communicate with spirit than the living.
It's like me and you, Eleanor. We went in a location during the day. These spirits might be sitting. Me and you, having a chat. Can you believe us? This fat, specky, abscess guy walked up, said his name was SPIG, and then you get this guy Scottish walked up, baldy head, try to communicate with us.
I'm a Harlan, how do you know I got a bald head? But no, I totally get what you mean. And I think they probably just sit about and shoot the breeze, shall we say. Who's to say otherwise?
They could be sitting judging us. Not that I judge spirits, but they could be sitting going, why are they asking these questions? This is the 10th person to come in and they passed 10 rules and asked me the same fucking question. And I'm not answering because I cannot bother. I want to go to my bed.
I've heard this many, many times. You say that that spirit probably get fed up with getting asked the thing, How many times are you going to ask if I'm a male? Seriously. And all these people will come on and claim that's paranormal, and no, that doesn't happen with spirit, and this happens with spirits. Well, we don't know. We don't know what happens with them. We can only guess, and a lot of the paranormal to me is guessing. It's best guess. Well, maybe that is the way it goes. We've all got our own opinions, we've all got our own views. We don't always match up,
It's like I've always try and debunk and try and take away the fact of the paranormal factor. Like if
that's the first
something
thing
that you'd possibly cause that equipment to go or whatnot, I'll basically look at that and say, right, no, I'm skeptic. I like to do that because once you come to the nitty-gritty and I do not have an explanation, then that's when it starts getting strange.
Aye, as you say, we do as you need to debunk first, and like today, if I ask you about the batteries, it might have been a stupid question, but it's one of these thoughts that come into your head, when the batteries, it's where your smoke alarm, your smoke alarm battery starts to run, do not beep. And so I was just standing thinking, well, does that work the same way? You know, if the battery's running low, I just keep going and going till it dies. So that's, you look at every single little thing. You know, was it a fly? Was it a breeze? Was it a drop of rain? You know, whatever. Before you say, right, I can't explain that. Because sometimes it can be the most simplest logical explanation that causes a K2 meter to go off or something. You know, it can be anything, and maybe we can't always see what's going about it all the time. So it might be something we've missed. And I think that's a good thing about doing a live investigation, because you get people like say Cat and Stenedy, Jerry, everybody else that was watching. You know, we're watching, say, the K2 meter, but we might miss the cat ball or something. There's somebody who's watching it might see the cat ball going off and comment the ball just went. Do you know what I mean? There's something we've missed, but they maybe pick up. Which I've done it quite a few times. I've missed the ball. I've turned round just as the balls went, finished flashing. It's like I missed that. But I've seen something else happening. Does that make sense?
No, 100%. Do you know what makes it more interesting is the way you were talking there, as if your mind's boggled.
But to be honest with you, my mind's boggled after the investigation today, simply because
and that's what I genuinely like, is for people with their mind to be boggled rather than go, oh no, it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that, oh, it's a guy standing there, it's this. You know what I mean? It's you're not arguing yourself, but you're trying to prove to yourself that it possibly could be paranormal. And that is what I like. Because then it's genuine. It's genuine.
My mind's been boggled since this morning, and that's sort of time. Well, to me, you're going in your head, you're trying to work it out. You think, am I right? It sounds logical. It sounds like it could be, with two families, and one's down there, one up there. One I'm starting to get to know us a wee bit. The other lot of stay away from us. Don't come near us. That would explain the dominant male. But then the other side of the coin is, are you just trying to fit the evidence in? So well, he doesn't like it, so that's the dominant male. Without actually being able to prove it. Do you know what I mean? Am I just surmising? Well, his name's James. I get a response saying it's James. So James is the guy that's walking about. But we don't actually 100% know that it's James that's walking about. We're just surmising. And that's the trouble with the paranormal. A lot of people would just turn and say, aye, that's James that's walking about there. Definitely him.
That's James walking about there. And then this team that said that collaborate with another team. And then they believe it's James. They collaborate with another team. They believe it's James. And this guy is James.
It's James for Loudon, whereas to me, it's up here it sounds logical, but you think, that's how you need to be careful. You need to say, well, my thinking is, but I'm not entirely sure. Which I'm not. It is easy just to stick right there, job done. We proved what it is. Paranormal, end of story. But it's not as easy as that. You can't do that. It can look logical. It can look likely. All the evidence, whatever you want to call it, can point that way. But then at the end of the day, we don't have 100% concrete proof that it is.
No.
All we can say is we know there's somebody called Lisa, there's somebody called James, there's a Christina, there's an Ian. We keep getting the name, John as well. Who is it? We can say what we're getting and surmise, but we can't say, definitely, bang, bang, but a job done. Let's go to another location, because we just proved all that's paranormal out there. And I think that's why you need to keep going back. If you get a location like Loudon, where you are getting bits and pieces, I think you need to keep going back we might never get any more of the puzzle. You know, we could go back another 20 times and get nothing, you know, yourself. Or each time we came back, we could get another week, we could maybe get a surname. You know, we could get, you know, Ian's surname maybe. Or we might know. But I think the more we get back, the more wee bits or pieces of the puzzle we'll get, and then can we fit them somewhere else? You know?
It's like if we were to return back there and get so much communication and second names and details and whatnot, and as you said, it's like I've got everything I need, I'll move on, go to a different location and get bored there. I would always return. Although I've got every detail I need and how they passed away on what age they were and whatnot, I would take that respect because I know every time I returned I could genuinely sit and speak
See, aye.
to the spirits.
I was just going to say that, you know, it's okay getting the, you know, the same surnames, date of birth, you know, you could have all the sort of important wee bits kind of thing. But then, rather than give up on that location, say, right, I've got the facts and figures for you, rather than give up on that location, I would rather get back, see if I could find out who, you know, what Ian was actually like, his dislikes, his, you know, his likes, his maybe his hobbies, you know, other, because let's face it, he was a person at one point, and he would have had likes and dislikes and hobbies. And did he like eating meat? Was he a vegetarian? There's 101 different things that this person could have been. And so I wouldn't just, you know, shut the door at, right, I've got the name, when he died, how he died, right, let's go. I would get back and try and find out more about Ian or Lisa or, you know, whoever, and you should try and speak to them, you know.
It's like if you return and you start building a relationship, Ian, for talk's sake, he might only be able to manipulate the REM pod, but as you return, he might maybe be able to manipulate the REM pod and the cat ball. Return again, REM pod, cat ball, K2. You build that trust. He might be able to show himself because he's built that much trust and energy. He might be able to possibly show his physical self in front of you.
But that's it. I mean, people might say, oh, that's a load of bollocks, it never happened, but how do they know?
Exactly.
How do you know a spirit can't build enough energy or experience, whatever you want to call it, to show themselves a part of themselves, an outline?
I don't think it's down to energy. See, like using my energy and stuff like that. Now, I've said it myself. Use my energy to show yourself or whatnot. I genuinely think it's down to trust and belief. And that is what I think. I think the whole energy thing, like using my energy, is gone. I think it's if you can build trust. Same as what we do together. Like you build trust with somebody, it's a bond. You know what I mean? It's try to build that bond and trust, and give them the comfort, and they'll come to their shell and express themselves. That is what I believe in, and I've always said that.
You know, it's a two-way street. You know, we come and go with them, they come and go with us. If that bond is built up enough, but so I've just noticed the time there. How long we've been on. So before we wrap it up, what's your general opinion? I'm not copying you. I know you do the count out of 10 thing. I'm not doing that. What's your general opinion of the day?
Out of 10 on investigation.
No, not a score. Just, you know, words just in general.
General, I think our first collaboration with yourselves, Ian came through strongly. Lisa came through, and I'm sure you mentioned that's the first time the names ever came through of the child. I think that Lisa, Elizabeth, whatever her name is, shares there. Ian stroke John is the most dominant male. I think he likes to be in control. But on that location, the Smallman, I did not expect to get as much. We tried to debunk it. We tried to debunk Screaming Box, K2, stuff like that, as you do. But I was surprised how much activity we got. I genuinely believe we get more activity during the day than we did the first time we were collaborated with.
I think we did, aye. We definitely get more. I was going to say tonight. We definitely get more this morning than we did the last time.
I don't know if that's down to personalities or I don't know, time of the day. You know, it's strange. It might be worthwhile going back. Same day, same time.
You certainly do that. That's no problem. That's no, we can certainly do that at any point.
And try and kind of recreate the whole investigation.
And see if we get
as much as we can.
Aye. I mean, my general thinking on the day on the beta is that we're taking, before I say I'm talking crap, but this is just my opinion, we're taking a big step with Loudon Kirk and gaining Spirit's trust. And I think we need to keep building it to get to know them better.
Mm-hmm.
He said, so we tried to debunk, everything that was happening and we couldn't. And I'm glad that it was all caught on camera. And so I think we've taken a big step with Loudon Kirk, and I think we should keep at it.
Definitely. It's a free location, open minded, and go and investigate. Aye. So no, absolute pleasure.
Thank you, honey.
Next location. No next, but looking to do Barnack House. If she's interested.
Could be interesting, aye. I was just going to say before we wind up, what's next in the bucket for you?
Yep, looking to do that. I actually know the person that runs investigations. So good there. Tell them about yourself and stuff. So aye, Barnack.
Yep. So when you're out tomorrow night?
We're out tomorrow. We are out tomorrow. We're out next Friday with yourself.
Aye.
We're out between that and September. We're looking to go to Dublin in September. August time, Barnack. I've spoke to the guy that runs it. So he's actually got his own paranormal team that basically runs it. So they're basically in control, so to speak. Paranormal team. But no, that's fine. Again, I'll just say I'm not really kind of looking to do the public venue.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a team.
Aye, less examination. Violet is asking any recommendations for equipment. Any recommendation for equipment for investigations in the UK for? I'm not a very tech person, Violet. So my recommendation would be just your phone, a camera on it, there's a voice recorder on it. Get yourself something like cat balls, Amazon, and a K2 meter. Just stuff, you'll get told all this, get this tech, get that. Stick to simple stuff. Couple of cat balls, a K2 meter, and you're out your phone. You've got a camera there and you've got a voice recorder there. That would be my advice. And it's cheaper. Cost-wise, it's a lot cheaper.
Apologies, but how do you say her name?
Violet Ann Tarrant. I think that's how you spell it. Well, seeing as it's been a long day. Violet Ann Tarrant.
Could I ask where you're based?
A bell. Actually, good Nicola Bell.
Nicola actually brought some bells along to an investigation that we took her out. We never really heard much, but if you look back on the group, you will hear what sounds like bells that's actually gone. Only VP.
North of England, near Blackpool. Violet Ann Tarrant. Which is near Blackpool, Morecambe area kind of thing. Well, that's what I would say. It's ridiculous. Is a bell, a compass. I don't, an every compass, something like that. Cat balls and your phone, nothing fancy, and you don't need to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on it. There's,
10, 20 years ago, you never had cat balls. You never had anything like really REM pods or anything like that. Get an investigate, ask questions, wait a response.
One of the best bits of equipment you can have is your own senses.
Yep.
That's what we say as well. Just say your own senses. Sit there. A torch as well. Always handy to have a torch. And that's basically
safety first as well.
Yeah.
Next Friday, I'll be Kirk. Go.
Aye. We're out next Friday.
I'll be Kirk. No, that's fine. We'll get ourselves as again as Barrack Burn.
Aye, definitely.
We'll
We'll definitely be able to do Bannockburn. That's no a problem. But we'll wind up here, buddy. So you're out tomorrow night. You'll be doing live.
Yep.
Right. So you can find Rig and his team on SPIG.
Scotland's Paranormal Investigations Group.
Definitely give them a look up. They'll be live tomorrow night. I don't know, about 9, half 9, something like that.
Probably about 9.
half 9. I don't know how
but before you go, it's like I think we were chatting about like how people get bored of watching it because a lot of people expect live activity. It doesn't work like that. It could take 2, 3, 4 hours just trying to get a cat ball going, a motion ball.
Aye.
That's when like genuine people.
Mm-hmm. It's like fishing. Anyway, we're back on Sunday with the lighter side with Andy Murphy and hopefully Charlie. If Charlie Rocks Carol, Charlie's been a wee bit under the weather. He's not feeling too great in it, but hopefully he'll be on with us. If not, it'll be Andy and me. And then we're back Monday night with Claire H. Louise from Urbex Paranormal TV. She's an urban explorer and investigator. And I say next Friday we're back out with this man here. Over there. Aye, him there. Guy with the glasses. Him there. So that's it for tonight, folks. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. And we'll find a way to get our footage over to Rigger so they can post it and you can go and have a look at what we're talking about today.
Send it.
Private.
Send it your way and we'll get up and we'll share it to yourselves. 100%.
I'll say to Sarah about doing it. She's the tech. So bye and talk to you soon, Nicola. Hopefully meet you soon, though.
Hello.
So take care, everybody, and we shall see. You'll see these guys tomorrow night. I still can't do it.
No,
2 years.
Oh no, hold on. Aye.
That one, him there. Guy with the, you see him tomorrow night.
This guy here to my left, look, he looks like this.
Not the good looking one, the other one. I forgot what I was saying. You see him tomorrow night, and you'll see us on Sunday night with Andy and hopefully Charlie, fingers crossed. So thanks for watching, folks, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Absolutely appreciate it. Cheers.